I'm back. Promise y'all I would be. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks and nerds and ambassadors everywhere. And welcome back again to the ambassadorial wing and part 3 of Ambassador Birthday Bash reviews. And tonight, as I mentioned last night, as I mentioned this afternoon, we are continuing our journey through the View Askewverse. And this evening, I'm going to be bringing y'all my thoughts on a rather unorthodox love story. Tonight, we'll be discussing Kevin Smith's Chasing Amy. And of course, if this is your first visit to the Ambassadorial Wing or you are a frequent visitor here, welcome, welcome. Hope you enjoy the stream. And if you do, in fact, enjoy the stream, smash that like button, share this out with all your friends who are also fans of Kevin Smith, whether you are a fan of his old work or his new work, and tell them, hey, get your ass over to the Ambassadorial Wing. Ambassador's talking about some good stuff tonight. And as I said, tonight this is an interesting film to approach. And you might be asking, why exactly is that, Ambassador? This is a film I've only watched, honestly, a handful of times. It's not that I dislike this particular film. It's just I have to be in the right frame of mind to watch it. And Chasing Amy is within the View Askewverse. It's not that the subject matter is an issue for me, because I don't have necessarily an issue from a social standpoint with the concept of homosexual relationships. Now, in terms of my religious belief, that's a different topic entirely, and that is a topic I will not broach here, because that's not the thrust. That's not the focus of this review this evening. We're talking about the film, not the social commentary of said film, though we will touch upon it as is pertinent to the film itself. But this is a very, very unorthodox film. And if you want to have a unorthodox discussion about this film, I, of course, as always, have put the link in the chat. So if you pop in this evening and you want to talk about Chasing Amy with me, and provided you have watched it, obviously, not recently, but as long as you have watched it, anything within the last few months or so, and you can recall it and everything, but I'm getting off on another tangent, which I often do. I don't know why I do, but I do. But if you want to join me tonight, like I said, the link's over there in the chat. So, without any more ado, let's jump right into the discussion. Chasing Amy. Now, this is a funny movie, but it is a somewhat more cerebral film in that it deals very heavily with the concepts of what is love, what is a normal or atypical relationship. Well, Fiona, unfortunately tonight we're not discussing Forbidden Planet, so that's not going to do a whole lot of good here. But Fiona, it is good to see you as always. So, but as I was saying, this film deals with the nature of love, what is a normal or atypical relationship, and how we as individuals oftentimes screw up the relationships that we are in. Now, this has a very strong cast, a very good cast, my personal opinion. You've got Ben Affleck, you've got Jason Lee, you've got Joey Lauren Adams, you've got, of course, Jason Mewes, Kevin Smith. This film doesn't have a huge cast, unlike some of the other films or anything that Kevin Smith has done before this one. But it's, as I said, the cast is solid. I really like the casting in this film. But the thing I always the first time okay, going back to the very first time I watched this film, I was like, "Okay, I'm watching all these films like Kevin Smith. I want to see them all so that I can figure out whether or not I like them all." Chasing Amy is after you've watched it the first time, it's kind of hard to watch it again. And here's why. Because you know that the relationship between Holden and oh, for heaven's sakes, I'm blanking on her name. Finger cuffs, finger cuffs, finger cuffs. Her name's not Amy. What's her name? Alyssa Jones. Had to pop in my head. Once you've watched this movie one time through, you realize if you watch it again, you know exactly what's going to happen. But this movie does have rewatchability within it. But why is it difficult to watch this movie more than once? And as I put in the thumbnail, I think a pertinent question is this movie underrated? Is this movie given more bad critique than is warranted? And just from my own personal opinion, yes, I do think that this movie is underrated. I do think it gets a lot of unnecessary and undue. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, you know him, you love him. He's wacky, he's crazy. He sang to me last night for my birthday, and I appreciate Mr. DJ Odyssey. And of course, Deej, good to see you, bud. Appreciate you popping in. And of course, one of Deej's classics. It made me chase lesbians. Anyway, back on track. Now, Deej, I will tell you, the link's in the chat. If you want to come in, the link is there. I've had additional cups of coffee. It doesn't give me special knowledge, just boosts to productivity. Okay, Fiona, that's fine. Don't worry about it, kiddo. As I was saying, after you watch this movie once, it does have rewatchability because you have to ask yourself this question. Would I have done the same thing that Holden did? And that's the key question here for this film. Would I have done the same thing that Holden did if I were in his situation? Now, I'm going to put myself in Holden's position. I have met this young woman. I have found out she is a lesbian, but yet I have very strong feelings for her, romantic feelings for her. I have come out to her and said, I love you. I care about you. And she reciprocates. But we come to the crux of this whole situation between Holden and Alyssa. Would I have gone down the same road once I had figured out what he knew about her past? Now, we can figure that Holden is probably in his late teen, maybe in his early to mid 20s, give or take, ballparking it here. If I had met someone like Alyssa, would I have reacted the same way that Holden did? Speaking for myself, no, I would not have reacted the way he did after I found out from someone that I regard as a friend. Sorry, my hat's all crooked and I can't stand it. I may actually, hang just a minute, guys. Oh no, Teach here. I'm doomed. Okay, oh, that's better. Well, here goes the stream. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him, you love him, he's wacky, he's crazy, he's altogether kooky. Mr. DJ Odyssey.
I heard that. Oh no, here's Deej under your breath.
Deej, I'm kidding, and you know it. So, before I
Continue.
go, huh?
Continue. Continue. I want to hear the rest of
The rest of my
your reasoning on why
my reasoning.
you wouldn't
Okay.
have done it the same.
Well, I would like to hear your thoughts on it too once I'm done. Okay.
Oh, you don't want to hear my thoughts.
Yes, I do. I had you.
Okay,
I've got you.
I'm warning you. I'm warning you though.
Okay. Well, Deej, it can't be any worse than anything you did last night.
Oh yeah, it can.
No, it can't. No, it can't. I've seen you go off the rails, so no, it can't.
Hey, I'm not going to bring up donkeys.
Well, it wouldn't be appropriate for this particular stream. So
No.
anyway, that's Sunday afternoon. That's Clerks 2. Anyway, would I have reacted the same way that Holden did once I had found out about Alyssa's past? No, I would have not. Why? Well, for one thing, even in my early to mid 20s, I was a lot more emotionally mature than Holden was. Two, I realized the situation I am in, considering the type of relationship that I am in with the person that I'm in a relationship with. A former lesbian has switched teams. She's already given up a lot. She's given up a big chunk of her life. She's given up her community. She has given up everything to be with me. So I'm not going to do anything to put any undue strain on this relationship. I'm not that dumb. Unfortunately, Holden was that dumb. So I'm not going to go, okay, to rectify this situation, we're going to just completely rimwreck our relationship. No. Now, would I have gone to my very best friend in the whole world and kissed him on the lips and said, hey, you're going to have to deal with your latent homosexual feelings towards me? Here's the thing. I don't think Banky does have latent homosexual feelings towards Holden. Now, granted, in JayandSilentBob Strike Back, we see Banky with Hooper, and Hooper does make a comment. So we do, I think there is something going on with Banky in terms of his own sexuality. So yeah, he probably did have to work it out, or he did work it out. Anyway, going further down this rabbit hole as to why I would not have been as dumb as Holden. The one thing you never do is bring another person into a relationship. That is just a recipe for disaster. Even if it is your very best friend, Deej would have been dumber. Okay? And no, I didn't put that on there. Deej did that all by his own.
Yes, I did.
I would have not put any undue strain on my relationship. Here's what I would have done if I had been in Holden's position. I would have said, okay, you have a past that I'm going to have to, on my own, in my own way, come to terms with. This is not going to be easy for me, but I'm willing to make the effort. I'm just asking you to not bail on me. Be supportive of me. If I've got questions, I'm going to ask them. Some of them might be dumb, but at least let's talk through this. And I sure as shit, yes, and I'm swearing a little bit here, I sure as shit would not have confronted her at a freaking hockey game in front of God and everybody. That is stupid beyond the pale. That's not a conversation you have at a hockey game. That's a conversation you have at home or in a private setting, say at a coffee shop or something. Somewhere secluded, or go somewhere, anywhere but a freaking hockey game.
Maybe he felt safer at the hockey game knowing that she wouldn't beat the crap out of him in front of all the people.
That's entirely possible too. But to kind of sum this up, there is a million different ways better to have handled this situation between Holden and Alyssa than the way Holden did it. Now, that being said, Deej, your thoughts.
This is how Deej would have been dumber. Because Deej would have found out that she had this past relationship and a threesome with two guys. So the little cogwheels in my brain would have started going and say, hey, I want a threesome too, but I want one because you used to be a lesbian. So let's get another girl into this situation and let's have a party.
Deej, no,
I
no,
tried to
no.
warn you. You didn't want to hear it.
Oh, I believe you. I believe you would have been that dumb.
Yes,
I believe you would have been that dumb, but I wouldn't have been that dumb.
I would have. Here we go. And that was how Deej would have been dumber, folks.
I wouldn't have been that dumb. But that being said, okay, good night, everybody. We're done. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Deej, let me ask you. After you watched this movie for the first time, did you find it difficult to watch again? Because honestly, I had it's not that I dreaded watching this movie, but when you get to a particular point in this movie, you realize, holy crap, things are about to go absolutely sideways. Did you ever have if you've watched this movie more than once, have you had a similar experience?
I had the similar experience, and I only watched the movie 1.5 times, and then I quit, and I couldn't do it again.
I get that. Whereas, with, say, Clerks or Mallrats or Jane Silent Bob Strike Back or Dogma or Clerks 2 even. You can watch those over again because they are hysterically funny. I think both of us would agree on that.
Yes.
This one is just I don't know if Kevin Smith was just in a bad place at the time when he wrote the script for this movie and this scenario, but it's gut wrenching. It's almost like a comedic. Okay, this is going to sound really weird, and coming from a person like myself, it's going to sound equally weird. But this is like watching a comedic version or a semi-comedic version of. Okay, I don't want to say that movie, so I'll say this movie. It's like watching a semi-comedic version of Schindler's List. Does that make any sense at all?
It does. And that's why I have a hard time watching the Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Oh, because it has kind of a downbeat.
Well, it also is kind of a sequel to Chasing Amy, too.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I haven't seen Jay and Silent Bob reboot. I want to. I've just got to get a copy. That's all.
Now you watch it, and there is a section of it that's Chasing Amy, the sequel, in it.
Oh dear Lord, why did he do it, Kevin? Anyway, do you want to say hello to the chat, Ferris of Ferris Geeks World? Good to see you, buddy. And I'll bring up Ferris's comment here real quick. Give me just a second. What's up, Ambassador? Do you think that this movie is one of Ben Affleck's best acting in his early career aside from Good Will Hunting? Short answer, yes. What do you think, Deej?
Yeah, it was some of his better acting, then it went all to hell until Batman.
Uh, can I be honest with you? And I said this last night, and I actually said it this afternoon. I never cared for him as Batman.
I think he's actually been one of the best Batmans they've had since Keaton.
Fair enough. Really, fair enough. Myself, yeah, I think Ben Affleck's performance in this movie was really good. I mean, honestly, it was really, really solid. Of course, we do have a cameo by his bestest buddy Matt Damon at one point when him and Banky are meeting with the film executives to do the Blood Man Chronic animated series. And can I just say, I would have actually loved to have seen a Blunt Man Chronic animated series in real life. Granted, we did get the Clerks animated series, but unfortunately, it didn't last very long.
And that really wasn't that good anyway. Bullet Man and Chronic would have been much better.
I think so too. Unfortunately, it never happened in the movie because, well, Holden, as Banky so eloquently said, had to go down the path of most effing resistance. You know, let me ask you, Deech, have you ever had like a friend or that one friend that just invariably does everything the hard freaking way?
Oh yeah. Oh
Did
yeah.
they ever get better?
No. No
Mm,
matter how much you tried to help them, how much you tried to point them in the right direction, they just continued on that dark path.
yeah. Well, except in Holden's case, it's not so much a dark path. It's just a very like, dude, she's a freaking Banky says it best, and he says it early on. He's like, dude, she's a freaking lesbian. She
But
likes chicks, not dudes.
she couldn't been a complete lesbian though, doing a threesome with two dudes.
Granted, she was young at the time. Now, I get what you're saying. I do. I get what you're saying, Deej, but at the same time, she had been predominantly with men ever since. She had been in nothing but I'm guessing it was more of a physical relationship than it was a emotional relationship with most of the women that she was with. I'm guessing here. Kind of like that one girl and everything that was at the bar when Holden and Banky figure out, holy crap, we're in a lesbian bar. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. a lot there was a lot of what Deej was describing or visualizing with his hands going on. Yeah, Deej, I know what that means. I'm not stupid.
I knew you knew.
So, but it's I will say though as well, I think this is one of Jason Lee's better performances as well. Even though I liked him in Mallrats, I think I liked him just a little bit more in this. I do. I really do. I think I liked him just a little bit more in this. Um but you know, this film does, I think, in a very accurate way, although a very difficult way, present how we as people oftentimes screw up a good thing by overthinking it too much, and particularly with the relationships that we are in. I've done it. I'm sure you've probably done it too. Thankfully, I
No,
got
not
smart.
me.
Gauge your nose is growing, much like the doctor in Airplanes did when he was lying to the crew, the passengers. I wish I had that clip. That'd be a good drop.
Yep.
Uh, but yeah, honestly, it's just this. When you get down to brass tacks, Holden was an idiot. He was just too damn stubborn, too damn prideful for his own damn good. Now, I will say, when Bob finally speaks and has his longest piece of dialogue up until this point in any of the View Askew movies, it's I think a great piece of dialogue. He's like, "You're tracing Amy, and here's what happened to me." So let's see. I'll bring up Ferris's comment here. Before Ben Affleck became a director in 2000, he had his haters labeling him a bad actor. I thought that was unfair. This movie makes me like him as an actor as well as Mallrats, Dogma, and Phantoms. Don't get me started on freaking Phantoms, Ferris. I love that freaking movie. I do. I absolutely love that freaking movie. What about you, Deej? Have you ever seen Phantoms?
Nope. Can't say I have.
you're missing out. Very creepy, very atmospheric, very top notch film with Ben Affleck. Got a really cool cast. Besides him, you got Liev Schreiber, you've got Peter O'Toole. Peter O'Toole's absolutely awesome in Phantoms.
But I did see
I-
him in Armageddon, and he was good there.
yeah, yeah, he was. Although he was acting alongside Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis will make anybody good. Let's be honest here. Although, and I will come to this particular quote Saturday when I review JayandSilentBob Strike Back. I do like this one reference. It's nights like this. I miss dating a lesbian. When they're talking about the clit. Oh man. But yeah, honestly, with Chasing Amy, it does have its funny moments. It does have its humorous moments, but they're not as many as they are in the other films that Kevin Smith has done, particularly earlier on in his career. I will say there is one scene that I think is overly melodramatic, and Deej, you can agree or disagree with me on this one. The scene when Alyssa finally buckles and says, "Okay, yeah, I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you," and they're standing out in the rain. I'm like, this scene is just too much. This is just way too over the top. What about you? What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that one because just a little cringy,
It
a little
just
over
seemed a
top.
little too soap opera ish. If that makes sense, if that sounds
Hmm.
about right. I mean, it's too much. It's just entirely. He's too over the top. She's too over the top, and it's just and the rain machine, and they're out in the middle of the street, and she's screaming and hollering and pounding on him, and then the music swells, and she comes running back into frame, and just like, ugh. I think that one scene just is. I sometimes just skip over it. I'm like, okay, can we just get to the part? Can we get past this part? And the more I talk about this film, it's
The more cringy it's becoming for you.
yeah, kind of. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I think this is a movie that I would regard more as a extreme guilty pleasure more than anything, but I don't legitimately hate it. I don't hate it like I hate The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker. Those I hate for a completely different reason, all into their own. This movie is just it's it's too it's too on the nose. It's too much. There isn't, I think, enough humor. I think you could have. I think Smith could have tackled this just a little bit differently, but unfortunately he didn't. But at the same time, you have to look at the scenario that's being explored in this. Can a member of the opposite sex who is homosexual suddenly switch back over to the other team? And it plays with the malleability of sexual attraction and everything. And I'm not saying there's nothing in I'm not saying that there isn't something inherently wrong with that. But it seems I think the biggest thing for me, the issue is I would have liked more build up. I would have liked maybe two or three, maybe at least one or two more scenes where you see Holden and Alyssa together and you see them developing more of a bond. It seems like it goes from 0 to 60, or I am a full blown lesbian, to, oh, now I like guys again. it seemed too quick. It seemed too sudden.
I just proved that she couldn't have been a full blown lesbian. She was
Oh yeah,
confused in herself.
yeah, I know. It's just when she says one thing, but her actions dictate another thing. That for me is the hard part.
Just call her a politician. We see that every day with them.
Yeah, I guess you could say that she does flip flop, quite literally.
There you
She flips
go.
from she flip flops from girls to boys, all in this in just one breath. Now, there is one other aspect of this movie that I did want to discuss at least for a few minutes, and that's the whole pop culture scene, particularly the Comic Con scene and the scenes that we have in this movie, in particular the ones dealing with Hooper, particularly when he's on the panel minorities in comics. And he is going on this absolutely over the top, I mean, even for a politician, over the top diatribe about how the black man is being kept down in pop culture and science fiction and fantasy genres. And he pulls a gun that's loaded with blanks and yells black rage and shoots Banky. So, Deej, your thoughts on that particular aspect of the movie, or at least that particular scene?
I thought it was unnecessary. Could have toned it down.
Yeah.
But I think that was also showing the early signs on how Kevin Smith was going to actually turn out.
Uh, maybe. For me, the jury's still out. I don't necessarily see it that way, but if you do, okay, fine, fair enough. That's your perspective. You're entitled to it.
And we know I'm usually wrong, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I'm not saying that your perspective is wrong. I'm just saying I don't agree with it, but I'm not gonna like berate you for it. That's the only thing I'm saying. Because
I, I
that's
lost all I lost all faith in Kevin Smith after what he did to He-Man. So
I didn't have a problem with He-Man. I really didn't. I thought the He-Man series, both parts, was actually pretty good. I mean,
I'm old school. That's my
and I
He-Man.
get that. Well, look, here's the thing with me and He-Man. The original cartoons, let's be candid here. It was a glorified commercial. It
Well,
was a
yeah,
glorified
all
20-minute commercial every week.
all all cartoons back then were glorified commercials. Transformers, GI Joe, He-Man, they were all glorified commercials to sell a
That's
product.
true. But some were a little bit better written than others. For me, I was never that big into He-Man in the first place, so to me, it didn't bother me that much what Kevin Smith did with the He-Man animated series for Netflix. Like I said, I thought it was okay. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it expanded upon what had been already presented in the original series, and it was entertaining. At least to me, it was.
I
You
was
know,
bored.
fair enough. You were bored. You know,
Then again, I'm a 51-year-old dude. I shouldn't be watching He-Man anyway.
that's true. I'm 44. I'm 44 years old.
I try
I
to grab a little bit of that youth wherever I can so I can feel young at least for an hour.
Yeah, no, and I get that. I get that, Deej. I do. And that's another that's another interesting thing about the whole dynamic, the whole dilemma within Chasing Amy. Banky is still kind of in his teenagerish phase of his life. Holden has kind of moved past that, and they're just at different places in their life at this point, even though they're working together on this comic, based on the likeness rights of JayandSilentBob. And I have seen it before. I've even experienced it myself. There are times that you have people that in your life that have been in your life for a very long time, and sometimes you just outgrow them. I mean, it happens. I mean, it's happened to me with friends that I have known for like 20 some odd years, going all the way back to elementary school. And it's not so much that we had like a falling out or anything, it's just the fact that we grew apart.
The opposite with
And
me. It's usually everybody outgrows me.
and hey, that does happen. But here's the thing. And I kind of I want to talk about this for a minute. The friendship, the relationship, whatever way you want to categorize it between Holden and Banky, even though they do allude to the fact that Banky does, I think, go kind of gay in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, I think more than anything, Banky is looking for somewhere to belong. He's looking for a place to belong. He's looking for someone that he can trust to be in his life and kind of be that constant. And for him, for so long, it has been Holden. And so I get that. And I think we all have that same need. We have that need to have someone be that constant in our lives. And thankfully, for myself, at least, not to rub it in anybody's nose, I have my ambassador. She is that constant in my life. She is that steadiness. She is that. I don't want to sound like a car commercial or a truck commercial here in how I describe my wife.
That's good because you'll get in trouble if you're describing her as a car or a truck.
Yeah, I know. But as people, we search for that sense of community, that sense of belonging, even if that's just a community of two. And I think Banky was looking for that same thing, and he felt like he was losing that with Holden because they had been working together for so long, they had been friends for so long, and everything else across the board. And when this other person comes in and threatens that relationship, not to mention Banky sees the writing on the wall. If anything else, Banky is a pragmatist. He realizes, dude, and particularly that one scene where he makes that drawing. He has the four-way street, he has the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, and the two lesbians, one that's friendly towards men, the other one that hates men. He's like, dude, this is not going to work. This will all end badly. He even says so. Everything when Holden says, "I have feelings for Alyssa," and Banky's like, "This will end badly." Those words are almost prophetic. And that's one thing about this movie that I love is the fact that Banky, while immature, is the pragmatist of the situation. He realizes that a situation like this, for the most part, will never work in practice. And that's why I do like Jason Lee in this film as much as I do. He does, I think he has honestly a really standout performance in this movie. I just wish he would get more work because I think Jason Lee is actually a decent actor. I think the only problem is that he looks too much like Ryan Reynolds. You're like, let's hire Ryan. What about the other guy that looks just like Ryan? He's good too. Let's just stick with Ryan. Why have a second rate Ryan? So I don't know how you feel about Banky Deej or anything, but any thought that you do want
I
to share?
think we all. I think we all have a Banky in our life.
Yeah, I don't
I
think I
know.
do.
I do.
Hmm?
I
Oh, do you?
do. His name is Nightbreeze.
I've seen Nightbreeze on your channel before, so I know who you're
Hmm?
talking about.
Yeah, that's
I know
Banky.
he's your Banky.
He's my Banky.
Once upon a time, I did have a Banky and I did need a Banky. Now I don't need a Banky because I'm married. But me and my Banky, we're still friends. We still hang out from time to time. But the funny thing is, it's actually somebody. It's somebody I knew from church. Actually, no, it's somebody I knew. It's not somebody I knew from church. It's somebody I knew from my seminary days. He was actually my best man at our wedding, and he and I are still really good friends. And we hang out every once in a while, maybe every 6 months, give or take, anything out of a year. We'll get together and catch up and everything. And but for the time that we were friends, granted, we haven't ended our friendship. But he was my banky, and I was kind of his, because I am older than he is by 10 years. Which means he's got a birthday coming up soon, so I gotta make sure and send him a card or something.
Uh, Privately send me a message offline with his real name, and I'll make him a pink bunny outfit birthday greeting.
No, I will not do that to him. I will
I
not try.
I I only use the first name, and I do it in a generic way to where
Nope.
other people can
I
use it.
am not going to traumatize my friend. No. Will
I've got I
no.
got one I got one that has
Deej,
3,500 views on it already.
Deej,
They love them.
I appreciate the offer, but no.
I could do it in an
I
eagle
want to
suit.
keep my friend as my friend. I don't want to traumatize him and send him to a mental institution just like Caitlin Bree after she screwed a dead
I can
man.
do it in the bald eagle suit, so it's patriotic.
No,
Unicorn,
no, no,
peacock,
no.
Woody outfit.
Deej across the board. No, 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 no,
All right, I'll just have to
no.
remember you for next year with the outfit public wise.
Well, the stream is live anyway.
I know, but I'll put it out on everywhere,
Oh, Lord,
not just your stream.
jeez.
I'll forget by next year. I'm senile. Don't worry.
You're not senile.
I'm getting there.
President Biden is senile. Oops, there went another sub.
My butt's been wiped.
I'll make sure and bring true and refractor the pressure. Okay, off of politics.
Anyway, if you liked Alyssa and Holden, just get your hands on a copy of Jay and Silent Bob Reboot.
I'm eventually going to, because I do want to see a Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and I do want to see Clerks 3. I definitely do. I might have to wait till Clerks 3 comes out on home vid on Blu-ray or whatever.
Wait till you see who plays Chronic.
I'm almost afraid.
Because they have Bluntman and Chronic in this movie.
Why am I not surprised?
Chronic is played by Melissa Benoit, Supergirl.
Okay, then. Avenge me, Hip Knight. Oh man, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is going to be a lot of fun to review on Saturday.
Yeah, and see, you get Holden in that one too.
Yeah, only for like 2 scenes, but honestly, after seeing him so much and chasing Amy, you're like, I'm good with just 2 scenes. I am. I'm good with just 2 scenes. Oh man. Well, oh.
And I know he's in Clerks 3 too, but I don't know how much or what he's doing.
I don't want to know because I don't want any spoilers.
I don't know any spoilers. I just know it lists Ben Affleck in the movie. That's it.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Fair enough. So yeah, to kind of answer the question, is Chasing Amy underrated? Yes, it is. But is it unjustifiably underrated? I'm going to say no, because it's a very hard movie to watch more than once.
It's one of those movies that you could stand to watch maybe once a decade.
Yeah, because I will probably not watch it again for at least 5 years. At least 5 years. Because
It's
like I said, I was able to get all of the original up including Clerks 2, all of the Jay and Silent Bob movies on DVD. And that was after having to knuckle under and order Dogma off of eBay. Now, I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong. I'm happy I finally have a copy of Dogma in my collection because I went through a phase where I was like, yeah, I'm kind of outgrown these films. And now, just like a year and a half or so ago, I was like, I wish I still had these movies. Why did I trade them in? I'm stupid. It's like my Star Wars collection. I never should have gotten rid of my Star Wars collection. I had so much Star Wars toys and stuff. It was ridiculous. Okay, it wasn't ridiculous. It was completely and totally justified. I mean, I had practically everything. Of course, now I've gotten some really cool pieces I didn't have before. Um, Believe it or not, I actually, back last Christmas, and no, I still have not put it together. I got at a local vintage toy store a Death Star playset from the original line. It's missing only one piece. It's not even a big piece, it's a little piece. And just the other day, well, this is like a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. I was at a comic book shop and they have a vintage toy room as well. And out of sheer damn dumb luck, I found a original line Millennium Falcon from it was from the 79 run before Empire Strikes Back came out. And I checked the dates, and the Empire Strikes Back Millennium Falcon came out in 81. This one had the date 1979 stamped on the bottom, so it is from the original line of toys. Or from like the second line of the original, from the first movie. I'm like, I didn't even have that when I was a kid. And I have no idea how I got off on this topic. So, Deej.
you're missing one thing from your collection.
What's that?
You said you had everything up to Clerks 2.
Yeah.
And then you said you needed Clerks 3 and Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Reboot. Yep.
There's also Jay and Silent Bob Super Groovy cartoon movie.
I didn't know about that one.
That
Thank
one
you for mentioning.
That one comes right after Clerks 2. It's basically a build-up for Clerks 3.
Okay. I'll have to put that on the list then. Thank you, Deej.
Because at the end of the credits, it does say, stay tuned for Jay and Silent Bob will return in Clerks 3.
I never watch after the credits. I never even watch the credits.
Nowadays, you have to watch credits nowadays all the time because there's always something in a credit scenes.
Yeah, thanks to Marvel, and I don't say that mockingly. Thank you, Marvel. Because now all the people that work so hard on these films actually get credit for their work because people actually see their names up there on the screen.
Or they just zone out and kind of just see blurry things go by until the screen back on.
That's true too. That is absolutely true too. Oh. But yeah. Final verdict on Chasing Amy, or as I might subtitle it, The Massive Blunders of Holden McNeil. The Massive Boneheaded Blunders of Holden McNeil, starring Ben Affleck and Jason Lee. I'm going to have to give this like a 7 a 7.5 out of 10. So, and do want to say hello to the chat to GM
Jim,
GMCR. Good to see you, buddy, and thank you very much. I appreciate it.
hello, games.
Hello, GMRC.
Well, see, you're in a better position than some of us, games. You only watched it once.
Like I said, it's gonna be a while before I watch that movie again, but I'll be watching Dogma and all the others again easily. I have to say, of all of them, by far, my favorite, my absolute favorite, is Mallrats. Though Dogma is a very close second, a very, very, very close second, because it's got, I think, one of the best casts out of all the View Askew movies. I mean, you've got Chris Rock, you've got Alan Rinkman, you've got Bud Cort as God, you've got Alanis Morissette as God, you have got Linda Ferrantino, you've got Selma Hayek, you of course have Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. You've got, of course, George Carlin. May he rest in peace, even though he kind of was a lapsed Catholic and a lapsed Christian altogether. But we'll get into Dogma Saturday. That one's gonna be a lot of fun to discuss. So, but I think honestly, unless you've got, excuse me. Oh yes, Vienna. I did have I had a nice piece of chocolate cake. My wife ordered the cake from the Walmart that I work at. And one of my friends from my old job who works as a cake decorator there, he did at least part of the day of the decorating on the cake. Okay, short story before we wrap up. I ordered the Mrs. birthday cake back last month because, well, her birthday was last month. And I picked out a particular cake from our catalog. Oh, you've got something in private chat.
I just put you the link to that super groovy movie thing for Jay and
Okay.
Silent Bob. So
All right, I'll definitely, I will most definitely check it out. Thank you, Deej. I appreciate it. I ordered her, and I don't think she'll mind me telling this. I ordered her a Disney princess cake because she loves the Disney princesses. And the particular one I ordered had 3 of those plastic figurines. It was of Belle, Cinderella, and Aurora from Sleeping Beauty. Or Sleeping Beauty. That's right. And but the funny thing was, she kept looking through our catalog and she's like, I just couldn't find anything. So me and her and her mom found the perfect decorations off of Amazon. So they just had them decorate the cake, put on their happy birthday in my name, and put a nice border and some frosting roses on it and everything, and that was it. My wife being my wife, and my wife knowing how much of a Star Wars geek I am, because, well, everybody knows how much of a Star Wars geek I am. Just look behind me. She found, well, her and her mom found, it was like a kit, and it had a sign it was like a miniature poster from Return of the Jedi. And then it had a couple of little stick things that went into the cake. One was of a TIE fighter, and the other one was of a X-wing. But the coup de grace was a piece. It was a piece and everything that sat on the cake. And it was the Millennium Falcon, and it lit up and made noise like it was the Falcon was going into hyperspace. But here's the crazy thing: she ordered it once, and it got lost. She ordered it again, but when it finally arrived, the electronic piece and everything that had of the Falcon, the battery compartment had batteries in it, and the batteries were corroded. So she wrote a very strongly worded review of the vendor of the seller. I was like, she's like, so you better appreciate this, and I was like, honey, believe me, I appreciate it. She's like, good. But to answer your question, Fiona, yes, my wife ordered me a nice chocolate cake, and it was delicious, and there's still plenty of it. And once I get done here, I'm probably gonna have a piece. That maybe a glass of scotch.
Ew. You can't
What?
mix chocolate cake and scotch together.
Sure you can.
No.
Why?
It just sounds horrible.
No, it doesn't. It sounds delicious. What are you talking about? It's two of my favorite things.
No.
Chocolate, chocolate and scotch.
Ugh.
You uncultured swine.
I'll stick with my pineapple pizza. Hey, that was in my lap.
No, if you were sitting over here, yes, it would have been in your lap, but it was over here.
Yeah,
Therefore, it
but
wasn't in your lap.
the way it looked on YouTube, it looks like you just threw up in my lap.
Good. And of course, now just to give you all a heads up, I will only be streaming once tomorrow, and that is, of course, my afternoon stream with Vienna, Wolf, and Mountains of Elysium and MB Geek. And we'll be continuing our review of the Babylon 5 spinoff, Crusade. We'll be covering the episode 5, The Visitors from Down the Street. Now, I will be taking Friday off because, well, and I'll be taking Thursday night off as well because I'm going out with some buddies tomorrow night. They're taking me out for my birthday.
They're going to
And then,
Tijuana for a donkey show. Watch it.
no, we're going out to dinner in my hometown. You pervert.
I had to get it in there somewhere. It's
No, you didn't.
the review for the review for Clerks 2 is way far down the road here in days.
It's Sunday.
So. Yeah, that's Sunday. Days. That's days from now. That's long
2
ways.
days. You'll live.
3 days.
Thursday, Friday. Yeah, you're right. 3 days. What am I thinking? Anyway, of course, now Thursday night will be no stream. Friday, no streams at all because we're spending the day with family, celebrating my birthday, and also one of my cousins because it's her birthday as well. And we're going to get together as family and do something. Now, I will be back Saturday with a doubleheader. I will be covering both Dogma and JayandSilentBob Strike Back. I'm starting at start times are 2:30 and 8:30. I want to give myself some time in there to have dinner and relax and whatever. So between streams. So the streams are already set up. Make sure you hit those reminders so you don't miss out. And as always, just like tonight and last night, the link for the streams will be in the chat. So if you want to pop in and talk with me about the films or act like a goon like this guy over here, you can do that too. So, and Fook Norris, thank you again, buddy. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, I broke you with one line coming into this chat tonight. It just took one line for me to break the stream.
Yes and no.
So, as soon as you read that, I saw you cracking up.
That is true. That is true. So, anyways, folks, we are going to wrap up for the evening. I do want to thank, Deej, thank you for joining me tonight.
No problem. I saw you up here by yourself. I was like, he can't celebrate a birthday stream and talk about chasing Amy by himself. Somebody has to step up.
Well, I did this afternoon, and I had fun. So
yeah,
it's okay.
Well, I was out getting shit faced this afternoon.
Shame on you.
I had to pressure wash a manure spreader.
Ugh, you have my pity.
Did you really want to join into that kind? No, that was gross. No. Of
So,
course, every time I say it that way, everybody thought I was drinking. Nope, nope, nope.
anyways, folks, y'all have a great night. Thank you for tuning in this evening. Of course, leave your comments down below on anything that me and Deej discuss in terms of chasing Amy or anything in particular. And of course, I will see you all tomorrow afternoon, 2:30 Central Time, for me and the council. And all the fun that will be.
And
Obviously, it will be
join
a lot.
join in because I may be in the audience trying to crack up the council.
Well, it'll be myself and Fiona and Mountains of Elysium and MB Geek if he remembers.
Yeah, yeah, MB Geek I can easily take off the rails quickly, so
Yeah,
that's no
I know.
challenge. That's no challenge there. Mountains of Elysium, on the other hand, up not to crack.
And well, DJ, not you, DJ, you need to you need to set your reminders for every stream because I start promptly, and once we're done, we're done. You're gonna have to go
This
back
is
and watch the You're gonna have to go back and watch the replay.
this is why I changed my name because there's too many DJs running around and I was just getting lost in the crowd. Now I'm just Deej.
Anyway, anyways, folks, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Of course, make sure you hit the like button, all that jazz. You know the routine, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. So, I will see you all tomorrow afternoon, and I'll see you again this weekend. So, y'all have a good night. Stay ambassadorial, and these are the ambassadors. Signing off.